Onward. So we're going to talk about the last new movie we watched, Happiest Season, which has also not been out for very long, though I think longer than 2 days,
Yeah.
maybe like a week or something. So Happiest Season.
Spoilers. That's why you're
Spoilers.
saying that it's been out. Like again, this is not a
Spoilers.
60-year-old Marilyn Monroe movie. This just came out, so you may not have had a chance to watch it. It's on Hulu.
Yes.
Um,
So spoilers all the way. Uh, so this, oh, I guess I'll do the synopsis. I was
you
going
seem
in
to
like,
want to go for it, man.
I didn't, I was just doing it. All right. So this stars Kristen Stewart and Mackenzie Davis. They are
And Aubrey
girlfriends.
Plaza is in it.
And Aubrey Plaza is in this, like she was in Black Bear. Kristen Stewart and Mackenzie Davis are girlfriends. They they share an apartment together. I think. I don't think it's a house. And we open and it's Christmas. And Mackenzie Davis's character Harper, she loves Christmas, and Kristen Stewart's character Abby is kind of moot on Christmas. We later learn out why, but whatever. So Harper like invites Abby to come see her family, and it's in the moment, and they're loving and whatever. And then the next day they're talking about it, and Harper's like, "You don't have to," and Abby's like, "No, I'll go." And so on the drive there, Harper reveals that she is not out to her family as being, with a girl. I don't know if they're strictly lesbians. I guess they might say it somewhere in there, but she's not out to her family, and Abby is going to show up as her roommate, who's an orphan, which is a running joke in the movie that is occasionally like cringy and not that funny to me, and is occasionally funny, and I don't judge humor that much because what do I know? But the rest of the movie is just what it sounds like. Abby and Harper are trying to be lovey to each other a little bit, but Harper is helping her dad, who's trying to be mayor, and there's all kinds of strife in the family. And Abby is
Harper's
just there.
keeping Abby a secret as
Harper's keeping Abby. Yeah, and she's going to tell her right after the holidays, and Abby's like, "I'm on board for this, fine. You kind of tricked me into coming here to do this, but whatever." And chaos ensues. I don't know. That's basically what the movie is, without spoilers in the initial part. And I enjoyed this. It's cute.
Yeah, it was cute. It had some good lines. It had some good acting. I think the main problem with this movie, not to come down on it too hard, because it's just a sweet bit of fluff that just wants you to love the holidays and love each other and be the best people we can be to each other, is the writing. And yeah. I don't want to. It's hard to know sometimes whether, I don't know who. This is for Hulu. I don't know who produced it, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I don't know if it's a matter. I know Clea Duvall, who's in But I'm a Cheerleader, wrote and directed it. I don't know if
she wrote and directed this, not But I'm a Cheerleader.
Right. She was in But I'm a Cheerleader, right. Which is one of my favorite.
That is a great movie.
Movie featuring cis ladies together. I don't know if it's, it's hard to say, because the other, it's not just always the writer's fault. Sometimes that whoever's producing it wants it to be a certain way. And so that's what happens, but it's a character problem. Mackenzie Davis's character, you barely meet before she shoves her girlfriend back in the closet. And then while she's doing that, she's really doing a lot of unpleasant things. And I like that the movie, the Dan Levy, John character, has a moment where he kind of explains the Mackenzie Davis's character and how hard this is and how it's different for everyone and what that means. But we never got to see Mackenzie Davis's character be a good girlfriend. All we see is her be this kind of poor girlfriend. And that's, I think, one of the major reasons why we end up wanting Kirsten Stewart's character to be with Aubrey Plaza, because Aubrey Plaza actually does some really nice things for Kirsten Stewart's character in the movie, and has been through a lot and seems to be a really nice person. So that's a problem. Yes. And then Kristen Stewart's character is really who the movie revolves around. It seems she seems to be the main character, but her goal and motive, her goal is to endure this holiday. She doesn't have much of a plan for it. There's no like, and this isn't what I'd want in this movie, but there's no like, well, I'm going to dress like a femme because normally I'm butch. Like, there's nothing she's not really, she doesn't have much to do besides just
Right.
like get a white elephant present and bear through it. And she doesn't really have much to learn. And then there's that one speech with Dan Levy's John character where he's like, you need to understand this. And the next thing she does is dump her. So it's like, I'm not sure. Even after Mackenzie Davis's character comes out, Kirsten Stewart dumps her despite her coming out and John giving her the speech. So it's like, I'm not sure what that was really about.
She doesn't have a character arc.
Unfortunately, it just kind of, it keeps the movie as sweet fluff and not being any, I mean, I laughed a fair amount. I enjoyed it a bunch, but it did that thing that comedies sometimes do where it's really funny and then it wants to be meaningful and it doesn't think it can still be funny and be meaningful at the same time. So it gets kind of serious and then everybody's making speeches and it just doesn't quite come together for me. It's not terrible. But
No.
you know, I think about like Schitt's Creek or But I'm a Cheerleader, and they have funny resolutions and are still meaningful.
Yes.
And this it's, you know, they have the Jane character, the sister that does everything and is unappreciated for it, like adding some humor in, but it's still not quite. Yeah. Anyway, I've talked a long time. So
you have. Well, so
your turn.
quick comment. So okay, actually, I agree with everything you said. You're right about all those writing problems. And I think something I came up with right after the movie that I still think I'm thinking right now is that it's really two different movies that are sort of tied together to create one. There's a slightly more serious rom-com and a lighter rom-com. I think both are rom-coms, but like one of them is like, I don't know, has more of like, you know, a pointy stick to like try and make points and do things. And the other one is fluff.
Yeah.
And the ending kind of doesn't really work for either. It maybe works a little bit more for the fluffy one. Like sometimes your fluffy rom-com gets serious right at the end to try and, you know, make you feel a thing. And that's fine. There are good rom-coms where it's done that, I think. But like it's, you know, it's also like you have two characters, but one of them doesn't have an arc and the other does. But the one that doesn't have the arc is the one that's really the main character. It's supposed to have two main characters, but Harper doesn't really feel like a main character. She feels like, I don't know, again, two different movies, two different characters. I don't know. So it doesn't really mix right. And I think I weirdly enjoyed this more than you because I kind of figured out partway through. I mean, it's obvious what the movie is. It's
I've been watching a lot of fluff that I've been enjoying lately. So then to see fluff, and I enjoyed it. That's not fair, but there's a way of doing fluff. And for me, this wasn't it.
Right. And I get that this isn't fluff for everybody. It's, you know, I honestly, I like rom-coms now, but this isn't really, I like the more serious rom-coms where like, they're still romantic comedies, but they just are a little bit more romantic, a little more dramatic. And this kind of doesn't really, it just like, I like that, like, it's the kind of movie where like, I like that Jane actually, like, they don't just wash over the Jane character. Like, they ruin her painting and she gets upset about it. And it's like, oh, that's good. Like that moment was good. But it's also where it's like the sisters are arguing with each other. And it's like, Alison Brie is a good actress. Mackenzie Davis is a good actress. I don't quite feel like they really got to play with their range very much.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mackenzie Davis gets stuff to do, but at the end of all of it, it just kind of settles into like, this was cute. It's fun. I didn't really expect anything more from it. I didn't really expect anything less from it. It was fine. Yeah.
I mean, earlier we were talking about an extremely experimental animation film that doesn't really have a narrative and so on. And it's like, you know, and we're like, yeah, go watch that. Why not? I mean, it's I feel like, you know, parts of that experimental animation didn't work for me, but it's fine. Like parts of this didn't work for me, but it's just it's a light, happy holiday movie featuring two cis women. You don't have a lot of those. You might as well see this one. That's a terrible. But like I enjoy.
Isn't cis when they're straight, or am I getting confused?
I think they.
Oh. Jill's shaking her head at me, so I'm confused. Don't mind me.
It means I believe it means you present you present a certain gender.
Oh, right. You're right. Okay. I get there's so many terms and like I care about people and I care about them having these terms to use, but I get so lost sometimes.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
But well, no, but you're right. This is like this is a popular LGBTQIA movie that
yeah.
people might watch because it's on Hulu. It's promoted. It's got famous people in it,
I
and
just
that's
want
good.
more of them. I want more of them, and then if there are more of them, some of the characters will work for me better.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's a weird. I figured something out on accident. I was curious who wrote this because it was Clea Duvall was one of the writers, and the other writer was Mary Holland. Mary Holland is the actress who played Jane.
Oh, okay.
And that actress is in Greener Grass.
Okay, who's she in?
I don't know. This is where it's like I want to look at. So Mary Holland.
Oh,
sorry,
she was
everybody.
probably like one of the neighbors or something like that. Yeah.
And it's like
Look, she was also in Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge. I just want you to know that.
Right. I'm looking at an image, and it looks like she's one of the neighbors at the pool. Like
Yeah.
Here's an article from the LA Times. She's the one all the way on the right with the thing on her head.
Yeah, is she the one they make get a divorce? I can't remember. Anyway,
I can't remember. No, she's not the
one.
one.
Oh no, the main character. That's one of the main characters.
Yeah, but anyway, she's in Greener Grass, so I've connected it to Greener Grass for you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this really. Like,
it feels like it's like a Hallmark type. I mean, I don't watch Hallmark films, so I don't know if it really is a Hallmark film. But I think
I know more about.
We're gonna go into this wanting to just feel happy, and it's going to make them happy, and that's just fine.
It's going to make them happy with a few pointy moments, so I kind of appreciate that there are those pointy moments, even though if it doesn't work on the whole for me. Like, I like that that's there. Like Dan Levy's speech where he's like, I'm glad that your coming out story was happy, mine wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's, everybody has their story. Like, there's stuff like that where it's like, if this reaches a wider audience, that's good. I think.
Yeah, and I appreciate that they showed that people can kind of not treat each other great but still love each other.
Yeah.
It's just it needed a little more nuance to really work for me. But as a message, that's great. Like.
Right, you brought this up when we were talking about it after the movie, and you haven't yet. So you talk about false equivalencies,
right?
And this movie has like false equivalencies in it. This and Love, Simon both have false equivalencies in it. I don't want to spoil Love, Simon.
A lot of rom-coms do it. I think they're trying to imitate Pride and Prejudice, which was a time of great inequality. So I don't even know what they're thinking. But yeah, it's like, I'm really sorry I ruined your life. I'm really sorry. I didn't tell the truth. And it's like, those things are like wildly unequal. But the movie's like, you both learned an important lesson. And it's like, not really though.
It's fine. Like, there are rom-coms where you don't have false equivalencies and the characters both still learn things and apologize for something, but one is definitely worse than the other, and it works. So I don't think movies don't have to do what Happiest Season does with the false equivalencies. We can the rom-com form is dated. We need someone to breathe some fresh life into it.
Well, and that's where, like I've said too, is like, I like that sometimes in these LGBT romances, one character doesn't grow. One character is really just kind of supportive and loving. Yeah. And I'm fine with seeing that in straight romances more. And I think it does kind of happen in straight romances too. But that's almost what this movie needed. But Kirsten Stewart's character was being treated too poorly.
I think it's Kristen Stewart.
Kristen, sorry, okay. Kristen. Sorry, Miss Stewart. Oh Jesus, Mrs. Stewart. Like, that's almost what her character, but it just usually that's not the main character anyway. Anyway, I watched a lot of these movies and I have thoughts.
You do. I ultimately Happiest Season. It's fun, it's light, it's fluffy, it's maybe a little messy and not like, it's not messy and it's more just like messy in story than anything else, as opposed to like a lot of ways it could be messy. So yeah.
It's hard to be too hard on him, and I was kind of hard on it, but it's hard to be too hard on a movie with such good intentions.
Totally.